everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Details Podcast. Today, you are so lucky to have my friend Melissa Fountas, also pronounced
Fountas for our Greek people.
Yes, and she is a Greece travel designer.
This is an episode you're not going to want to miss.
Yes, you took the words out of my mouth. Perfect, thank you. Because two things. One, we are going to talk business, but we're also going to talk about Greece and who doesn't want to go to Greece.
Well, and that's how we met.
Exactly.
Actually, because you wanted to go to Greece. I also wanted you to go to Greece. And I think that that's like that's the foundation of adult friendships.
Yes.
You know? So
literally, you want to go to Greece, I want to go to Greece, let's be friends.
want you to go to Greece, yeah.
And we want you to go to Greece, which is why we have her on, because she does own Ela Opa, which is exclusively Greek travel or Greece travel service. Like, she's not going to take you all over the world. She's an expert on Greece.
I don't know anything about Italy. I don't know anything about the Caribbean. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. It's Greece and that's it.
So you're truly an expert, and that's why I think people should come to you if they ever want to travel to Greece. We'll get into why you need to skip travel agencies altogether later, but I do want to touch base on what you brought up. So the power of Instagram is so amazing for so many reasons, but it is one of the things that brought us together. It's how we found each other. I was working with a metal worker on some interior design projects.
Yes.
Steve, right? No.
You know him. Him. What the heck?
I don't know his name.
Danny.
Dan! Shout out Dan.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay. Dan.
We've got a few things on our mind.
Yeah, we are moms. We are tired. We are business owners. We got a lot up here.
We do. And I have people that are like, I don't know how you do it all. Like, I don't have kids and I can't even get done what I want to. And you have two. And they're like, how do you do it? And I was like, you just do it.
I know.
You just do it.
I saw a little like meme or whatever on Instagram the other day, and it was like, people who don't have kids saying they're exhausted, what the F are you doing? Like, how are you exhausted?
Well, and I think back to life before kids, life before business, and I was tired. I was like, what the heck was I tired about?
In your own way,
Exactly.
though. Like, it's definitely a different caliber of tired.
It is. It's just different. But, like, you get it done because you only have a certain amount of time in a day, and you understand that, like, if you want to get your shit done, like, you have to do it in this time slot, and that's all there is to it.
True. Okay. So, we met through Dan.
Dan!
And I was posting because my husband and I love to travel. And I was posting, it is on my bucket list to go to Greece. I feel like everyone in the world has seen those pictures of the white buildings with the blue domes, and that's what first people associate with Greece with, which we'll dive into that later. But I was like, I want to go to Greece. It's next on our list. And I just had put that out into the world. I don't know why. On my Instagram, I put that out into the world, and Dan said, you should follow my friend Melissa. And so then I started following you on Instagram. I think we mutually followed each other. And I just messaged you. I was like, hey, I'm actually literally interested in learning more about your services. Can we meet for lunch?
I remember exactly when you messaged me, and I was in Greece at the time. I was on the island of Seraphos, and I was like, who is this woman who she is also a business owner in Omaha. I was like, that's awesome. I'm like, I love connecting with people that are, here, because, to find other women, to find that community, to find people who understand actually what you're going through, like, that's so important to connect with other people. And I was like, yeah, I want to follow her back. Like, I want to see, what she's doing. I'm really curious about this because, like, when you start a business, you are different now. Mm-hmm. You are different than the person that you were.
Your life changes.
When you... your life changes, who you are changes, what's important to you changes, how you move through the world changes, and you can't necessarily relate to the people that you were friends with before that.
Yeah, and your time changes.
It's
wild.
It's like having, like, you have one child, I have two. A business is another child. It really is.
Absolutely. And,
like,
it takes your time, your talent, your emotions, your energy, all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to another woman recently, as we were talking about business and personal brands, and how much inner reflection you involuntarily sign up for, and like this process of looking inward. And she's like what you wrote. I recently got into Substack, which I really like. It's like long form writing, like on Instagram, like it's just like boom, 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 like say the thing, get it out, get the attention, get the hook, like whatever it is. But like on Substack, like you can actually like process a thought.
Yes.
And so I had recently wrote one about, I called it the business of becoming. And like what happens when you start a business, and as you work through it, and how you're feeling and what gets brought up. Like when you start a business, you're like, you have everything that propelled you to start the business in the first place. These like motivators, these action feelings, these like, I'm gonna get this done, like I'm really good at this, I'm gonna do this. But then like you also have all of these other things that come up that you like kind of avoid, like the perfectionism, the validation, the ego.
Yeah.
Bless her little heart, the ego.
She around. She here.
She here. She always here. She always watching. But I mean, like, it's part of the process. But anyways, that was a long story to say. This woman said, thank you so much for writing this. She's like, I feel like so many people in my life do not understand where I'm at right now. She's like, not even my husband. And I was like, no, they don't get it. They don't get it.
No. And I don't think you can unless you have owned a business. It's just like having a child. Like before you're a parent, you don't know what it's like to be a parent. And before you own and operate your own company, you don't know what it's like to own and operate a company. Being an employee and being a business owner are two drastically different things. For sure. But I want to press pause because I want to get back to our intro of how we met. So we went to
still on the
sushi.
intro?
Yes. It's okay. We went to sushi because I want the people to know you did help me plan an entire trip to Greece.
I did.
And it was fabulous. And she does amazing, amazing work. And my husband and I went in 2022.
Yes, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It was a lifetime ago. And it was like right after everything opened up.
Yes.
Also, like post-COVID,
yes.
we were testing and everything, but it was still very safe. And so I just wanted to like vouch for you that she is amazing. I've used her services, and you should too. And I would go back to Greece for sure again.
Did you guys have to COVID test when you were there?
Yes, to come home.
You did.
Yeah, we had to go.
Wild.
But it was way more casual than here.
Because you just like walked into the pharmacy, right?
Yes, and they didn't like go all the way up into my brain. It was very casual.
That's so
And
weird.
quick.
I can't even remember that.
I did.
I mean, I can't remember that as being like even part of the process, because like business changes so much. It changes so quickly. It changes so rapidly.
For sure.
And like you had brought up the Santorini earthquakes.
Yes.
Like, again, like already forgot about them because I mean, like to
Are they
me,
back?
no. And you're like, that was wild. And I was like, I don't think it was.
But they evacuated a whole island. Hot take. How is that not wild?
Because nothing actually happened.
Oh.
Nothing actually happened. Like, they evacuated as a precaution.
Okay.
But, like, nobody, like, no building structures were... crumbled. Nobody was hurt. Which, I mean, like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, no news is good news.
True.
But, I mean, there was nothing that was like, oh my gosh, like, people have to cancel their plans. Like, oh my gosh, like, that, like, never sent off alarm in my head, which is good to, I mean, I guess is a testament to actually speak to a professional about it, because there was nothing that was like, I was not worried.
Well, I'm not a professional, but I am married to a structural engineer. And when we went there, and we stayed in an amazing spot that she found us, I had like a whole list of things I had to have, and then there's this pesky budget involved, so it's like, you know, finding what you can and can't do. But anyways, I'm married to a structural engineer, and we were there, and it's literally building on top of building on top of building, and like, I think we were like either under half restaurant, half nightclub, like your walls, you know, you're just like so on top of each other there that I don't know, but I do get like from the structural concern, like everything is just like on top of each other. Like I swear the people above us, pipes maybe connected through the wall somewhere, like It's all just so integrated there. And I don't know, because obviously I'm not there and I didn't watch Really News. I saw like a highlight or two on Instagram.
Yeah.
But you saw like rocks falling down the mountain on like some videos, and I was like, well, that's a little scary.
Yeah, and the thing is that the earthquakes were kind of in the middle of the sea. They were
Caldera.
The what?
The caldera. What's the word?
That's on Santorini.
Wait, what?
The caldera is like that strip of a land, like where like the cliff starts to go.
I thought the caldera was the inside of where the volcano collapsed, and then what we have is the remaining earth above the outside.
Well, yeah, I mean, the caldera is like that strip that you kind of walked along.
Okay.
It is. It's like right where like the cliff like starts to go down.
Okay.
That's okay. I don't know. I don't know interior design stuff.
Vocab
so, like,
words.
don't quiz me.
I thought I had it.
It's okay. Are we still on the intro? Did I miss that again?
No, it's okay. It's okay. We went to the earthquakes.
We did.
They're fine. They're back.
The earthquakes are not back.
The people.
Oh,
are
the
back.
people are back.
The people are
Everybody's back.
Okay.
Everything is business as usual.
Phew.
Well, we were talking about how quickly business changes.
Yes.
And how we just like have to keep evolving. And it feels, and you know, like we talked about this a little bit too. You know, like when I planned your trip, that was 3 years ago now.
Yeah, I'm sure your services have totally changed.
They have, and you know, like I look back and be like, oh, like I could have done that better. I should have done that better. I didn't give them that information.
You did great.
And you know, like I was talking to, like I had a business coach for about 6 months before the busy season because I cannot take that on during busy season.
Highly
like,
recommend business coaches.
Yes.
And life coaches.
Yes. Anybody, like if you can afford it and you are a business owner.
Yeah.
And the time commitment, if you can commit to the time.
And I think that's the main thing is I think so many business owners get stuck in this loop of working in their business that they forget to zoom out and work on their business to improve their business as a whole. And I'm glad that like you're doing that. I know I've done that, and I think it improves not only for us but also for the end user, our clients.
Exactly. But I mean, you have to be realistic with what you're willing to put into it, because like she would tell me, she's like, oh, I have these clients and they're like not even listening to anything that I say. They're not doing the work. They're not implementing. And so like they hire her to, you know, make these changes, but like they're not making the changes. Like that is a waste.
That's a waste of money and time.
That's a waste of money and time and effort. And then like you put these expectations on yourself, you put these expectations on the business coach to, you know, do these, you know, quote unquote changes, improvements, but if like you're not willing to do the work, you know, it's not going to work. And, you know, I think when you start a business, you have all of these ideas of like all of these things that you want to do, and you're like, I'm going to do them all. I'm going to do all the things.
Yeah.
Your brain can only handle one big shift at a time, like scientific, one big shift. So like if you're already like hypothetically working on your perfectionism, none of that here, no problem. No.
Yeah. Well,
so like if you're like already like focused on like, I'm going to address my perfectionism, I'm going to work through this, I'm going to work out the kinks, like I do not think you should also be like, okay, now I'm going to work on my finances too, and I'm going to like do these spreadsheets, and like I'm also going to start a new like workout routine, and I'm going to do, you can do one thing. Promise you.
Yeah. And I don't know if you follow Gary Vee on social media, but he always says like, just start your business. Like don't wait till it's perfect. Literally just start your business and make adjustments as you go. And that's been like the guiding light for me, because if you wait for perfectionism, you'll never start. And so I think just starting, get it going and making tweaks along the way is so important. But okay, I want to pause and I want to ask you, because I think this is so important. I want to know two things. One, why you decided to start your company.
Okay. First,
we'll talk about that, and then second, we'll talk about how you actually started it, like the steps. So like the first one's much more like ideation, the second one's very practical steps.
The first one. Well, I have a marketing background. I had always worked for somebody else, as I should. And even like in my job before I started my business, I was I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but I was still looking for work, working for someone else. Like that was like in my head. That was ingrained in me. Like, oh, if I want to work, like I gotta work for somebody else. Like, oh, and like I'm interested in travel. Like, oh, I wonder if like I should apply at this like travel agency. Like, like always working for someone else.
Yeah, where can I work? That was the thought. Where can I apply? Where can I work? Because I didn't, my parents didn't own a business. Did your parents own a business?
One of them, yeah.
Okay.
My dad did.
That's what I wonder. And I always like to ask that because sometimes people have entrepreneurial, like they've seen a part of an entrepreneurial journey in their childhood, and some people literally never have. So I think that's like an interesting factor that maybe is in the back of people's brains.
Well, and like my parents even brought it up to me. They're like, I think that you seem like the type of person that would own your own business. And I'm like, no.
Love that they had that confidence in you.
No, but like I didn't see it. I was like, I don't want to do that. Why would I do that? Like when I'm younger.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that feels
What was your fear? Just like, that's too much. Like, that's too big. That's scary. Or I'm not ready.
I just didn't see myself in the role, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
you have to figure out what that's going to look like first.
You have to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I had to be, I'm so stubborn, it had to be my idea.
Oh, not your parents. Fair. Okay, so one day you grow up, you have your marketing.
Okay, so yes.
You're like, I need to work for someone, I like travel, but you hadn't landed on Greece.
No, again, like I didn't know what was capable. Like I hadn't seen it. And so like it wasn't on the radar.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see it. And so I left my job in marketing. I'm at home for the first time like without a job in my adult life.
And why'd you leave the marketing job?
I knew I was unhappy.
Okay.
Well, it was a mutual parting is what happened. So I'm at home for the first time without a job, like actually like with a clear head.
Yeah.
And I had like three people like within the course of 2 weeks. What did he say?
Clear head but pregnancy brain.
Oh, yeah, that is.
That's a thing.
That's delusional.
Love it.
Delusional.
That's how the best businesses start.
I think that is. And so I had like 3 or so people like within a couple weeks be like asking me about Greece and what to do, and I was like having these conversations. I was like,
and why were they asking you about Greece for people who don't know?
Because
like just randomly.
I seem like the type that would go to Greece. No, because so my husband is originally from Athens, Greece. His mom, his sister, all aunts and uncles and cousins and everybody are still there. So we go every summer. And so I accidentally became very good at being a professional traveler to Greece.
Yeah. Because I think people look at you and they're like, oh, maybe she's Greek, but you are born and raised in Nebraska, which most people don't know, right? But yes, you married 100% Greek man from Athens, fell in love, started traveling, go to Greece a lot.
Go to Greece all the time.
Okay.
And so I had seen, like, of course, on my first trip to Greece, I was like, I'm going to go to Santorini and Mykonos, like everybody else.
Yeah.
And because that's the American Greece dream.
Those are the 2 that we know of.
Yes, those are the 2 that we know of. And so I was right there in step with...
Was your husband like, okay, we'll go, but I don't want to? Or was he like...
you know what? We were still in like the early stages of dating, and so he let me do whatever I wanted, which like he still does. Now he just asks me more like, why are we doing this? And I was like, because I want to. So like that part hasn't changed.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, so yes, we went, and so we were going every summer, and we were going to new places every summer, not like going back to Santorini and Mykonos. I was like, I want to see these islands. And the more places I saw that weren't Santorini and Mykonos, I was like, my God. I was like, those places are so manufactured for the sake of tourism. I'm like, that's not Greece. Like, what's happening? And the more of Greece that I saw, the more I experienced, the more like I was in it. I was just like, that's so not it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm really disappointed that so many people think that is, quote unquote Greece, because
there's so much more than that.
It's not. Like, those are places. But as far as like experiencing the Greek culture, it's not. It does not hit the marks. And so when people would talk to me, I would say, no, you can probably skip that, or you can skip Mykonos for sure, Santorini, like make sure like you understand like what you're walking into is, there's a ton of people there. There's a ton of high tourism. I was like, if you want to go, I mean, go, but keep your expectations in check because it's not what it is in the pictures.
Got it.
And what did you think when you went?
Well, I love Santorini.
You loved it.
Okay, I love Santorini.
I know you did.
But
That's
I do get what you're saying. Like, it was very, very clean, like, well-maintained, well staffed. There's good infrastructure. There's good transport. The views are, like, to die for. Like, the best views ever. It was just gorgeous. Everyone was super nice and helpful. And I loved it because, like, that's what my mind had always seen of Greece was the blue domes with the white like buildings, and we did like the little donkey ride down to that Amudi Bay and like ate this giant chopped up fish by the water.
I remember that's what you wanted.
Yeah,
like, I want the water to just like hit my feet while we're eating.
Yeah,
like, that's what I wanted.
It
like,
did.
Let's get you that.
It did. But we also went to Milos. Yes. Per you, which we loved as well. And that my husband actually liked Milos the best. That was his favorite. And then my favorite thing that we did at Milos was like that sailboat tour with other people and like going around the island. Even though the water was very cold in May.
It was chilly.
It was a little chilly. But then we went to Athens, and when we were walking up top on the Acropolis, is that what it's called?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I get it.
The Parthenon. Well, here's the thing. The hill and everything on it is the Acropolis. What like you see, like that structure is the Parthenon.
This one, but then the one with the ladies, the lady columns, is called something else.
I just call it the lady columns. As
well.
Okay. I absorb a lot of information. I can't remember. Like I'm not an archaeologist.
No. You have a lot on your brain. We always go, my husband and I, before we travel, we always go through our architectural history books. So, like, I have all the names in there. I just can't remember them right now. But up there, I was, like, sweating bullets in May. And I'm like, what's it like for people who come here in August or July? Like, infants would probably be, like, I don't know, everyone would have heat stroke.
And I mean, they do close it from time to time when it gets too hot.
I believe it.
They have to.
I was dying in May.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, I don't know if I'm just a weenie or what, but I was dying. And I sent you a picture of that dad who had a baby on his shoulders with like a unit and the umbrella, and the baby was eating the banana, and you're like, I want a piggyback ride under an umbrella eating a banana.
Always. I don't even have to be in Greece for that. Like, I just like, I would like that.
But yes, but I do see what you're saying, because like Milos was much more laid back, obviously a lot more authentic Greece. A lot less tourism. We hadn't even hit really the high season, so it was super slow and chill and like relaxing in Milos. And I feel like probably the food was a lot more authentic. Like, I don't know, all the things. But I'm glad that we went to all three, Santorini, Milos, and Athens. Athens is like a whole other thing.
I know. I think we need to get you back, because I know that you didn't love it. I know that you didn't love Athens, and I think maybe like it was...
I liked Athens more than Milos.
You did?
I don't know.
Shut up.
I don't know. Do you want to know honestly what happened?
Yes.
Okay, when we were leaving Milos...
Yes, how have I not heard this story?
Well, maybe I've told you. I don't know. But okay, this is so stupid. I can't believe we're talking about this. When we were leaving Milos, we were waiting for the ferry to come, and we were like sitting at a restaurant. And I distinctly remember it was when the trial was going on between Amber Heard and what's his bucket.
Oh, okay. This is so random. No, I have not heard this.
The pirate man. What's the pirate man's name? Johnny Depp.
Damn.
Johnny Depp. We're good with names. Okay, so it was the Johnny Depp case. We were like sitting, like what is all this going on with the Johnny Depp case at a cafe, like keeping our eyes on when the ferry's gonna show up. We ordered some carbonara.
Go on.
Okay.
So weird. Go on.
Back when I ate gluten.
No wonder you haven't told me this story before.
It's so random. It gets even more random. Well, this is what happened. On the music, like the speakers, do you know what came on?
What?
Okay, it's the intro song for all the Bourne movies. Jason Bourne.
Don't even know it.
Okay, it's the intro song for Jason Bourne. It's like dun, 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 dun.
Go on.
Okay, so then I was like, I'm in a Jason Bourne movie. And then we got to Athens. And we don't even have to put this in the podcast. I'm kind of mostly just telling you. Or we can. I don't care. You tell me at the end of this. We got to Athens. Great hotel, and then there was some pastry place that I had to go to because I had like seen it
Yeah.
online. I'm like, wow, it's such a beautiful interior design. I have to go to this pastry place. It was like 7 steps away from our hotel, and we had no idea. So we like walked there, and we like went on the rooftop, and we were on the rooftop eating. I bought way too many desserts, and we just like laid them all out.
Okay.
And I was like looking around at all these other rooftops, and I was like in my Jason Bourne mind, and I was like, and I do this in my life.
Okay.
But there were so many rooftops, and like
Yeah.
some of them were like lived in and some of them were not lived in.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I was just like, there could be a sniper on that roof.
Oh, and that's why you liked Athens more than Milos. Because you were in a sniper movie?
No.
Oh.
Where's this going? I don't know. We can keep going. This was just like a tangent. This was a tangent.
Yes.
So I was a little scared.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
But it's all in my head.
It's
a safe city.
that is wild.
It's a safe city.
Yeah, it's very safe.
Yeah, it is. It's all in my head.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, that was a tangent and a half.
Okay, I don't remember where we were at. I was telling you about how I started my business, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
basically,
so people were asking you.
yes. And so I said, I know what I'll do. I'll start a travel business, but not just like any travel business, like Greece specifically. And I was like, and I had to ask myself, I was like, do people do that? Like, is that a thing? Like, can I just do Greece? Like, I don't even know like who I was asking permission from. Like into the void. I was like, do people do that?
Like, can I do that? Do I need permission?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Like we do that
As humans,
and women especially.
we seek approval and validation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Don't do that.
Don't do
You are enough.
Don't do
You
that.
can do what you want. Follow your dreams.
You can't.
Sorry, it sounded like a robot. I meant it to be inspirational.
We need like an inspirational poster back here.
Okay, so you were like, wait, was this before or after because you actually worked at a travel agency? For a
No.
minute?
Okay. Yeah. I did for a minute.
Yeah, 1
I-
minute.
Basically, that's what it was because then COVID hit.
And tell them the
so-
dirty nastiness of travel agencies
Well.
in a sentence.
Okay.
Or two.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to dwell on that.
No, we don't want to dwell on that. But so I'm at home and I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. I was like, I don't know anything about the travel industry. I'm like, I know Greece. I know how to get around. I'm got that under control. Travel industry in general, like I don't know. And so I connected with a woman who had a local travel agency here. She's like, oh, I'll kind of take you under my wing and show you what to do. And so like I actually got to see the travel industry, like the traditional travel agency industry, and I was just like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing it? Like, why is this like, I did not want to start a travel business to do things like everybody else.
Because basically they were only sending people to places that they got kickbacks from, is in a nutshell. what
Right.
happened, correct? So they
Right.
weren't actually looking for the best itinerary for each people or getting to know each people and their likes and dislikes. They were basically just sending them on their pre-ear tabbed places that they knew they were going to get kickbacks from and charging whatever they wanted.
And a traditional travel agency who plans travel for like everywhere for anyone, like they don't have the knowledge to know about the differences between these places, and so they work through these host agencies and suppliers they're relying on them to give them an itinerary back. They're just like, my client wants to go to Athens, Mykonos, and Santorini, and the supplier is like, oh, here you go, like plop, like here's this package deal. Like there's no individualization to it. There's no like, hey, how are they going to feel? It's just like, here's the hotel that we book for people that want to go here and that have this budget, and like it's all based off of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't want to do that. I hate that. I hate this. And
It
it's
feels
so
like
icky.
mass produced. It's not personalized and customized, but you are 100% personalized, 100% customized. And I feel like when people book with you, they know they're going to get a once in a lifetime customized trip for them and their family, or them and their significant other, or them as a solo traveler. And like you really tailor it to them, where these other big travel companies don't.
And they can't even. They can't. They don't have the ability. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the connections. They have all of these like strings to go through. They have all of these procedures and like people to pay.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's basically like the OG MLM traditional travel agencies are.
Oh, that's a hot take. Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I get it. So you, knowing about Greece, being, married to a Greek man, going to Greece every single year, knowing the ins and outs, seeing all these different places, you're like, well, I want people to experience the real Greece.
Right. I want people to experience Greece the way that I get to.
Yeah.
And as, like you said, a purebred Midwest girl who didn't even have a passport until she was in her mid-20s.
Same.
Like, I went camping as a kid.
Oh my gosh, me too. That was literally our family vacations, with tent camping.
It was, and it was great. I
Yes.
loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. But my parents were like, okay, kids, get your passport. We're going on an international trip. Like, my, spoiled ass kids,
Yeah. I haven't taken mine abroad yet, though. I want to.
You will.
I know.
There you go. Go camping. Go camping.
Okay, so keep going. So why you decided to start the business?
But so yeah, going back to why I started the business is because I didn't want to do things that way. I thought it was really icky and it didn't feel good to the travelers either.
Yeah.
And so COVID hit, everything stopped. There was nothing to do except for maybe make a business plan. I mean, scroll on Instagram. But and that's the thing, is I don't even think I was in that space to start a business until I started looking on Instagram and I'm seeing these other women that started businesses.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then the algorithm's like, hey, here's more women that started businesses. And I was like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden it feels normal. It's a very normal next step. Oh yeah, I can do this. And it's we did not start businesses to do something like somebody else. We wanted to do it our way.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing from starting something from ground zero. You can make it whatever you want. And as you go, you're that's not working. This is working. I don't like doing that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. This isn't working for my travelers. And you get to shape it. You get to mold it, which is both a curse and a blessing, because it's you're in charge. You're the boss.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, love that. So you're I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start my own Greece travel design company. Mm-hmm. So what were the logical first steps for you? Like for me, it was buying the website domain, getting headshots. I designed my whole website, just bought a template on Squarespace, and then registering with the state to be a legal entity, and then starting my Instagram and kind of just starting to put myself out there. That was kind of my rollout, I guess. What practical steps did you take? Because I was really impressed when I worked with you. You had an app and everything. I still don't have an app, you guys, so I think she's legit.
It's not my app.
I know, but own it. It's her app.
It's my app. No, you know what? The app is not mine, but all of the information in it is.
Yes.
That app is shit without my input.
There you go.
The tools are nothing without the person behind it.
For sure.
Really.
So what stepping stones did you do to start your business?
Well, going back to the idea of other women and community.
Yeah.
I talked to my friend who she was doing something similar to me. We met on Instagram.
Love.
Instagram is wild.
I meet cool girls on Instagram.
I do meet so many cool girls on Instagram. Really.
Truly.
And okay, so this woman, her name's Amy, she's my work wife.
Love.
Met her on Instagram. Never met in person, but we talk every day.
Shout out Annie.
Annie.
I don't know you, but I love you.
But yeah, so I'm talking to her, and she had already done it a year prior, and she's like, this is what I did, this is what worked for me, I used this, and it's just stuff to get started.
Yes.
Set up that LLC, get a bank account.
Separate bank account.
Yeah, separate bank account. Really just a minimal, a minimal viable business.
Yeah.
Just enough to get started. I didn't even have a website for probably a year.
Oh, really?
No.
Okay.
I created a service and pricing guide that I sent out to people.
Okay.
And the people that signed up with me, I probably did not have my website yet.
Yeah, okay, you had a web. Yeah, I was gonna say, because when I worked with you, you had a website. It wasn't basic though. You had graphics, you had packages, you had drop down tabs, you had the logo, you're saying Ela Opa.
Yeah.
Travel. I feel like there was almost more verbiage.
There was.
Which was a little confusing to me. So that's when I was like, can we just like get together and talk? And now you've like really honed it down. And it's like, I think much more on point. Which I did that too. I had way too much on my website at first too. And we confused the customer, which is the last thing you want to do when someone actually comes to your page. You want it to be very easy to work with you. But that's what I'm saying is like you did have a website.
Yeah, and it's an involvement. Like you always have to evolve.
Did you design your own website?
I did.
Okay, me too.
I did on Squarespace.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if something needs to change or something needs to be added, if something needs to be written, it's coming from here.
It's me. It's me. Hi. I'm the person. It's me.
And it's so nice, like, when people do notice or say something nice about it. Like, I had a call yesterday with a woman. She's like, I just loved your website. Who did that? And I was like, me. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Because it does take time. It does take energy. And, like, as business owners, like, the number one priority is the actual work of the business.
Yeah, what you do for your clients.
And so like to take the time to do that creative work on the website or to create an Instagram post or to record a podcast, like that is an intentional choice that you have to say, like, I am saying yes to doing this creative work for the betterment of my business or for research for, future travelers, whatever that is. It's such an intentional choice. Like you are saying yes to that and no to like, finding a hotel for a client. Like you have to make that decision every day. Like what are the priorities? What is most important? What absolutely needs to be done?
Yes. And you make such a good point. I have like 85 things to say, but I'll just say two. One, I feel like that is what I feel like most employees don't understand is like for me as a business owner, I'm like, what's due next? And then let's work backwards. And that's how I prioritize. Like if something's due for a client, meeting that deliverable and that timeline, that contractual obligation is number one for me. And then doing an Instagram post is on the back burner or, whatever. If there's another project, but I don't have my next meeting till then, like that, you have to organize that in your brain. So that's one thing. But then two, what you were saying is like, take the time to do an Instagram post or take the time to do a podcast. Like for me, when I became a business owner, social media to me was no longer like a place of fun. It is a marketing tool. Like, yes, it is still fun, but I also kind of hate social media, but I use it because it is a free marketing tool and it can be very targeted. People are like, oh, well, you sometimes post about your travels or your kids. It's like, I have business pillars. Design is obviously how I make my money, but design is a pillar of mine. Travel is a pillar of mine. Being a mother is a pillar of mine. Like nature is a pillar of mine. Those are really my 4 pillars. So like, I think people can easily watch a business owner's social media and think, oh, they're trying to be an influencer, or oh, I know everything about them. And I'm like, actually, no, and no. But I'm glad that you feel that way because I do believe in the like, no, trust theory where people have to like you first, what they see, and then they feel like they trust you, and then they'll actually book with you. And so I don't know how I got there, but I just really felt passionate about saying that.
I'm glad that you said that because Instagram, like we said, it's a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
And actually, I was walking down the street in Athens this summer, and somebody stopped me. We passed each other, and she goes, "Ela Opa Travel," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But it was so surreal. Because she recognized me as, like, my business entity. Like, it wasn't, oh, Melissa. It was Ela Opa Travel, like, the brand. And I was like... And then, like, she had posted... She's so sweet. I was following her back, but she didn't have her picture in her profile, so I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Wow.
And so I was like, well, what's your Instagram handle? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
So fun. Okay, and that is interesting also. When we were talking about egos earlier, like a lot of people when they start interior design firms, they would be like Tara Miller Interiors or Melissa Travel. But like the fact that you and I both chose names that weren't us and were something else, I think A, speaks to like maybe a little bit of lack of ego, but B, it is interesting because then people identify us as that name since we are online. Like we're the face of our company.
Right, right. And she had posted something on her stories later that day. She's like, when you meet an an Instagram account, and they're as cool in person as, and I was like, she did it again. Like, she referred to me as like a thing. I said, I made it. I'm a thing. I'm not even a person. But it was so fun. It was so enjoyable.
I feel like it's like validating that all of your hard work is paid off. You're doing the darn thing and you're doing it well, and people are enjoying it and they're relating to you and what you do.
But I will say, like, when you think of Instagram as work, as like a chore, like, I love it. I think it's so fun. I do. And actually, like, I have to pull myself away from it because I use it as a creative outlet more than anything. Okay. Like, I love, like, to share, like, the pretty moments. And, like, sometimes, like, I'm sharing something and I was like, I don't even know, like, if this is helpful. And I was like, I just, like, want, like, people to know that this, like, exists, or, like, that they can do this. And, you know, like, when it comes to Instagram, you know, like, there's some times where it's like, okay, I really want to get a point across. Like, I want to share this. Like, this is valuable information. Like, people need to know this. Yeah. And, you know, like, I feel like some of, like, the most valuable information, like, completely falls flat in terms of views. You know, like, this, you know, quote unquote worked, because it's like, it's a very particular information. Like, people, like, necessarily, like, don't want to think too hard on Instagram or think too deeply. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, I want to share this information because it is valuable. Yeah. And the people that get that, the people that understand it, the people that see it, hooray for them. Yeah. Like, they're the winners. Yeah. The people that didn't, like, I feel bad for them. I'm sorry that you didn't see that, because, like, this is gold. Like, I do not put out anything that I don't 100% believe in. And, like, even
she only puts out gold.
I only put out gold.
Yeah, you do, girl. 100% pure gold.
And I was like, if you didn't see it, I'm sorry. But, like,
good loss. I love your confidence level. I need to get on that level.
You have it. But, like, I'll look back at old Instagram content from, like, 4 years ago, and I'll be like, oh God, that is so ugly. And I was like, what was I thinking? Like, the fonts were weird, or, like, the video was, like, shaky, or, like, but, like, I look back, like, so I look back at the visuals and I was like, that's ugly. I've evolved so much. But I was like, the message stands firm. Yeah. I 100% believe what I said then. I still believe it today. I read the caption. I was like, shit, I was on it.
Recycle that content. Post that again with a different video.
What I was talking about 4 years ago is what I'm talking about today still. Like, I firmly believe what I said. Yeah. And I still do. And I think that that's so important in a business in general, is to believe, you know, what you're doing matters and what you're saying matters. And, like, for example, like, have you seen people that are just like, or met people that are like, I wanted to start a business, so, like, I Googled franchises and I picked this one because it made the most money. And I was like, how do you do that? There's no heart or soul into that. How would you do that?
That's lifeless.
Why?
Yeah. No, you and I are both so passionate about what we do, and the passion is what drives our businesses, for sure.
Absolutely. But I will say, and this drives me absolutely nuts, like, if we're, like, talking about, you know, like, new people getting into the travel industry, and, you know, like, especially, like, these Fora agents talking about MLM, like, that's an MLM.
It's Fora.
Fora, it's like, if you decided, like, I want to be a travel agent, like, you could sign up on Fora.
I don't have time.
Oh, I mean, like...
Yeah, but you
know what I mean? Like, anybody that wants to, like, start booking travel, like, on the professional, like...
level.
Yeah, but, like, on that same hamster wheel that we talked about before. Like,
got it. Okay.
So, anyways, like, when I see these pop up, because I get served these ads on Instagram.
Makes sense. It's in your algorithm that you like travel
and so they're like, here, look at this new travel agent. And, like, they all have, like, their introduction picture, like... And they're like, hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm...
Shout out, Ashley.
Ashley from Fora.
I love all the names we're dropping in this podcast. We're like, oh, what's his name?
Like, name droppers.
Ashley.
We're name droppers. Just blatant.
If you got a name, we'll drop it.
So on Instagram, I get served these ads of these like brand new, fresh out of like egg cracked. I'm in the travel industry now. Like, guys, to all my friends, like I'm a travel agent now because I find, and they all say the same thing, and it's all like, they all start the same way. It's like, guys, welcome to my new business. Like, I finally decided to follow my passion for travel and now I'm a travel agent. You can book through me. Like, I'll book your romantic honeymoon. I'll do a cruise. I'll do your family trip to Disney. I'll have you walking through the streets of Portugal. It's like, bitch, one, pick something. Two, nobody cares how quote unquote passionate you are about travel. Who cares? Who cares if you are passionate about travel? How does that help them?
Got it.
How does that apply to somebody else's?
What problems are you solving for your
How does your passion apply to somebody else's trip? Like it doesn't, you know? And that's like one of those things, like you can be as passionate as you want about something. That does not mean that you are qualified to do the work.
So true.
Like, I could be passionate about interior design. That doesn't mean I know how to do it and do it well for somebody else.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you bring that up because earlier, before we started rolling, we were talking about labels because you are a travel designer.
Right.
And I am an interior designer. And I really don't like when people label me a decorator because
It's insulting.
Well, it's because I do so much more. Like, I know building codes, international building codes, safety codes like life safety codes, ADA accessibility, fire safety, all of this knowledge and all these years of college and testing that I did to become an expert. Like, yeah, there's so many people who love interior design or interior decorating, but they couldn't go get a commercial project and provide the correct level of, or the required level of expertise. And so I hear what you're saying and how that can apply to your industry as well.
And I think that, you know, being on the level that we are, like, I consider us both to be like very high levels of, you know, what we're doing. Like, in our industry, like, we're really fucking good at it. Like, that's okay. That's the like the straight story of it. Like, we're both like very good at what we do. And so, you know, we see these people that are like doing like not a good job, but it's similar work, but it's not good work. And it's really hard to see people buy into that or like buy into their services. And like, I have to remember that like we can coexist with what's going on here, because not everybody wants this level of service. Not everybody can afford this level of service.
Exactly.
It's not for everybody. Somebody needs the FORA agent. Somebody needs the decorator.
Exactly. And that's how I try to explain it when clients come to me and they say, well, can you do it for XYZ, or so-and-so would do it for this price? Well, I'm like, okay, here's the actual deliverables. Like, are you comparing apples to apples, or are you comparing apples to oranges? And most of the time, they're comparing apples to friggin' meatloaf. So, you know?
That's so true.
So it all comes down to the contractual deliverables. Like you said, what experience does this person have? Are they qualified? And then what are you actually getting? What are the literal deliverables that you're getting? And it could be so completely opposite, even though they're marketing themselves as doing the same thing. It's all in that contract, baby. Read every line.
It is. And I think that, you know, as somebody purchasing a service, you have to be really realistic with, you know, what you have a budget for. Mm-hmm. Like, I would love for you to come to my house and freaking interior design the crap out of it. I would love that. Can I afford it? Absolutely not. Like, will I just like keep living in my humble like abode? Yes, I will.
House is beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But yeah,
but it's like,
I hear what you're saying.
And you know, like, on the same level, some people are just like, you know, like, I just like want to go to Greece and, you know, do it on my own and simply, and it's okay if I don't do it, you know, at this level, at this standard, at this, you know, authentic, you know, culturally immersive level. Like, they just like want to go.
For sure. And can I cut you off for a second? Because I think this is a good time to tell people what you do. Because in case you don't follow her on Instagram, or if you don't listen to the other podcasts that she's a part of, or if you haven't checked out her website, I want you to explain what you do, because I thought it was so helpful. I mean, like everything down to which ferry to take at what time and which flight, and all of the like transportation details that I think usually if you're just winging it and if you're going yourself, that's where you end up getting hooked up. Or like all my checklists of everything I wanted, the view and the hot tub and like blah blah blah, like I could go on and on, but I want you to explain in your own words what you actually offer these people, so they have some context as well. Because I know, but you might not know. And after this episode, you're going to go follow her, and then you'll know.
Ela Opa Travel.
At Ela Opa Travel.
At Ela Opa
on Instagram.
Travel. Yeah.
And your website is?
elaopa.com. Yeah, you're right. Like, I totally live in my own head. And I read something yesterday on Substack, actually. And she had this post, and she's like, so many people think that their work is going to speak for itself. She's like, no, it's not. It's not. Like, you have, but like, I forget, like, and I think that you probably do it too. Like, we live in our heads. Yeah. We're like, everybody knows, like, what I do, obviously.
They literally don't.
They literally don't.
They don't. They have no idea.
No, and I'll tell you something, like, I mean, then this is kind of embarrassing, because I was on a call with clients, and like they had just signed up to do like a 1-to-1 hour strategy call. Okay. And I thought that that's what they needed. I thought that that's all that they needed, not like the full service A to Z, which I'll tell you about here in a second. And so, like, I'm, like, busting through this hour, like, trying to get them as much help as I can. And, like, at the end of the call, they're like, okay, so, like, I really hate, like, having to get into all the details of the choosing the hotels and the booking the ferries and stuff like that. And they're like, do you know somebody who does that? And I'm like...
Stop it right now. What is your premium service called?
Full service.
Yes.
Full service.
Yes.
Travel, design, and booking.
Where you literally do all the
I literally do, like, all the things. And I was like, yes, I'm sorry that, like, that was so confusing. Like, I don't know where the disconnect happened, but there was, like, a solid disconnect between.
Did they find you on Instagram or your website?
That's it. Instagram.
Okay, because not like I'm telling you what to do, but I love to problem solve out loud. I'm such a verbal processor. Do you have any like pinned things at the top, like your first 3 squares?
No.
Is one of them like, these are my 3 services I offer?
No, I should. That's on they're not my to-do
list.
Okay. That's been on my to-do list for like 3 years.
I love this. Oh! And we're going to have a brief pause in this podcast so she can. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, I need to go make my pins.
Okay.
So that was super embarrassing. I was like, oh my God, like, how did they not know that that's what I do? And they're like, well, we want to do that. I was like, okay, I agree.
Yeah, okay.
I think that you do need this, and I think it would be extremely helpful.
Yeah.
So yes, what they wanted was the, A to Z, where, like, we start from ground zero. We look at all of the options that match, what their preferences are.
This is full service now,
This is full service. This is full service, where they're like, we're taking this trip to relax, or we're taking this trip because, like, we want an adventure, or, like, those are different trips, like, or, like, this is a couple trip, or, like, we're taking our daughter.
Or we want to rock climb. I didn't know Greece was, like, a mecca for rock climbing.
I am not on, I don't rock climb.
Me neither. I low-key have done it, like, twice.
But...
yeah.
What was I talking about?
Do they want to party? Do they want to relax? Do they want to adventure?
So, I mean, we start at, like, nothing. We look at, what the priorities are, what you do want to do is, and what you don't want to do. Like, that's so important, like, if, you could go to an island that has an airport, but like, you're like, I just, like, don't want to go back to the airport. Like, I don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well then let's look at another way to get around. And so everything kind of forms together, as far as, like, preferences go. And then, we take a closer look at islands or destinations that match those needs.
Yeah.
And
do you want to lay on the beach? Are you a foodie? Are you all about the restaurants?
Right.
What is it?
Right.
What are you looking for?
And, taking that information and being like, okay, so you're really interested, what I show you, Sifnos is a really good fit for everything that you're telling me that you want. Okay, here's what it means to actually go here. There's not an airport. Like, we need to have you be on the ferry. And so, you're not going to land in Athens and go straight to the port because there's not going to be a time available to take the ferry. So we're going to do your Athens days first. You're going to relax. You're going to go to the port, and then, you'll take that ferry to Sifnos. And why you want to be on Sifnos is because, it's a small island and it's easy to get around, and the food is amazing. And, the beaches are beautiful. But I'm like, if you tell me that your priority is, like the most beautiful water, like, then we're gonna, like, maybe we should consider like a Milos or a Falagandros or something like that, because, well, Sifnos is gorgeous. If you're talking about like top tier water, top tier sea, then this. Yeah. But I was like, Milos is lacking in other areas that Sifnos fills every other gap. And so, like, taking that information and, like, letting them decide. Like, you have all of the information that you need to make the decision, an educated decision.
And then you help them connect the dots and, like, fill in all of the question marks.
Right. And it's like, you don't have to guess, like, what the best restaurants are, or, like, the beaches that, okay, you're already at this beach. Since you're already going to be on this side of the island, it makes sense for you to go to this beach, or you're going to finish your boat day here. And so when you drive back to your hotel, you're going to be driving by, like, this phenomenal restaurant or this cafe or whatever. Like, understanding, like, actually how to execute the time, but not control it. Like, only plan what absolutely needs to be planned, and leave the rest open for how you're feeling, because, like,
adventures happen.
That is why you travel. Yes. You travel to be surprised, not to have everything be like this and restrictive.
Correct. 100%.
You have to consider how you might feel. One of my favorite quotes that doesn't have anything even to do, it was not about travel.
Love this.
It wasn't about travel.
Love quotes. Hit us with the quotes.
Hit us with the quotes. It was checks notes. Okay.
So tell the camera, because I think this will be a good clip.
Okay, so, God.
You look great.
Okay. I wasn't worried about that.
Oh.
I know I look good.
I don't know what you were saying that for. Oh my gosh. I love your level of confidence. How do I gain this?
Okay. You should put that in the clip. You should make a clip.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. So, one of my favorite quotes that you'd ask me, like, what's a fun quote about travel? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I was like, but I do have a lot of just like general being a human quotes. And one of them, and I'm going to read it because I don't want to mess it up. It says, the best plans are those which can be adapted to new circumstances, which means you have got to have flexibility in your plans. Like, it's just a no-brainer. And that could be applied across your entire life, not to be so committed to be like, I've got to go to this restaurant, or I've got to see the sunset here, or, like, whatever it is that you get in your head about doing, and then, like, you get there and there's like an hour wait. It's like, okay, well, do you want to wait an hour, or do you want to go find somewhere else? Like, for me, like, I don't ever make reservations. I just assume, like, if I can't get in, like, I just, like, go eat somewhere else, and that's me. But, like, I want that flexibility. I don't want to have to ever feel like I have to be somewhere at a certain time, like, unless it's logistically necessary to, like, catch the ferry or catch a flight. But, like, I just, like, don't feel good that day, like, when I have to, like, be somewhere and do something. I don't like it.
Yeah. Nice. I like that, though, because I think your travel plans for people give them exactly what they want, but also gives them room to adventure and to explore and to find new things. And that's, like, the beauty. That's where memories are made and trips become super memorable.
It is. And, like, like, you guys, for example, when you were in Milos, you had planned at some point to go to Sarakiniko, the place that looks like a moon. But never in your wildest dreams where you were like, okay, I'm going to sit here and a cat is going to come out of nowhere and be my best friend. Like,
you can't talk about that cat. I love that cat.
I love that cat, too. It was like, but you can't plan for that stuff. You can't.
So nice.
You can't. Or like the people that you met on the boat trip.
Yes.
Can't plan for that.
Yes, and the people that I met on the winery tour when I still drank alcohol, I still follow them on Instagram. We're like still friends. And I'm still friends with the people on the boat tour. They just had a baby. Like, it's beautiful.
Isn't that wild?
We hung out after the tour ended. Like, it's so good.
So, like, if you had a reservation that you had to be at after that boat tour, you would have just been like, oh, sorry, like, we can't. We gotta go to this reservation. And, like, ruin the relationship.
We actually had people on the winery tour that had a reservation and they didn't go because they wanted to continue the night with the entire group, and we went to like a different restaurant.
Right, and good for them.
Yeah,
good
literally
for like canceling and not being like, oh, we gotta do this.
They're from the UK, which I think the UK people go to Greece a lot. Like, we met so many UK people.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, that and Ibiza.
What?
They go to Greece and Ibiza.
Oh,
a lot.
Like you're speaking a different language.
I know. Okay, so I want to get to some fun because we're at an hour 4 minutes, so it's fine. We can go to like to an hour 30 if we want. But I want to do like the really fun, like hot, catchy stuff now. Okay. So like, let's start feisty. Okay, for people who want to go to Greece, which is everyone, can you talk a little bit about tourist traps or things to try to avoid or just to be cognizant of when you go to Greece?
You said it right there. Being aware of what the tourist traps are and deciding if that's something that you want to actively insert yourself in or not, you know, but having realistic expectations of, you know, like Sunset and Ia, like tourist trap number one in Greece, like isn't like there is no part of me, and I have been there.
Me too.
There's zero parts of me that want to go back and do it again. Because the thing is like, there's so many places to watch the sunset. Like,
yes.
And like,
and there's not a bad spot to watch the sunset.
Right, you do not. Like,
Ia is a part of Santorini for those of you who don't know.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
There's like
in my head.
Ia, Fira, San Giglio.
Sure.
And Fira. It's still Fira. but yeah, so like, I hear what you're saying. Like, if you go to the, people know as Santorini, everyone's like, you have to watch the sunset in Ia. Actually, you don't. Like, all of the spots are great.
Exactly. So, understanding that the sunset in Ia is a, you know, quote unquote tourist trap, and, you know, having that knowledge before you go into it, if, you know about it and you can say, okay, like, I know that there's going to be a lot of people here. I know that it's going to be a mess. I know that, like, it's just going to be not, like, exactly enjoyable, but I still want to see it. Having that information going in is way different than being like, oh, I saw these pictures of the sunset in Ia on Instagram and, like, it's like nobody was there. And then you show up and it's like the exact opposite of that. Yeah. You know, then that is a shock to your system. Like, you're disappointed. You're like, this is not, like, Santorini is stupid, you know?
Same thing with the Sarakinikio beach, which I don't know how to pronounce.
Sarakinikio?
Yeah, like, thinking you're going to go there and get shots without anyone in it. Like, you'd have to be there at 5 a.m. Like, it's a popular spot.
Yeah. So, yeah, understanding what to expect before you go to a tourist trap is really important. And like I said, like, understanding what those are, like, some of that information doesn't come until you're, like, in it and you're like, oh shit, this is a tourist trap. And so you really do need to do some research, or you know, if you are hiring somebody like me, to say, hey, just so you know, this is what's actually happening.
The reality
here.
Of it.
Do you still want to do this? Is this still something that interests you? Which, you know, as a whole in Santorini, we talked about. Yeah. You know, it's like, okay, I know that you want to go to Santorini, just so you know, it's not going to look like the pictures that were taken in, like, January, where, like, nobody's there. I'm like, it's actually going to be this, and it's going to feel like that.
Or when those pink trees are flowering.
Right. And it's like, okay, this is what it is in reality. Are you still okay with going? Is this still something that you want? And then you get to make that decision and say, yes, I do. And you, like other people, have been like, I'm sorry, I think I want to go to Santorini. I was like, you don't have to apologize. You don't have to apologize to me about that. Yeah. But, like, it is my job to make sure you understand what to expect.
For sure. Yeah. Love that. What are some of your favorite Greek foods that people should try if they go to Greece?
Cheese.
Really?
Cheese.
Local
cheese.
I did not know that.
Every local cheese doesn't miss. I mean, because it's made fresh. You cannot get more local than that. Like, and it's not like you're like, give me a hunk of that cheese, please. It's like normally it's like mixed in a salad
Got
or
it.
something like that. Or
Was
like
goat cheese a big thing on Milos? Because they have all the goats there.
Well, yes.
Maybe it was. Maybe I remember
Yes,
this.
because like feta
cheese.
cheese is pretty much made from goat milk.
Got it.
For the most part. Not all of it, but a lot of it.
Okay.
But yeah, like the way that they brine it or flavor it or whatever it is, the consistency.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different everywhere that you go.
That's cool.
So definitely cheese. Definitely local meats. Like there's always like a local sausage of sorts. It's called lucanica. Always order those. Like I order those like it's like I'm about to do a wine tasting with them or something. Like they're so good. So always like a local meat, always a local cheese, and maybe that's the key, local.
Yeah.
Because, not every area is going to have like a really strong gastronomy footprint, but the places that do, really, really nice. And Athens is
I was gonna ask about this.
freaking amazing. Like I'm obsessed with all of the restaurants and cafes there. Like it's so good, and it's not like they're doing anything like absolutely crazy offbeat from Greek food, but like they're taking like traditional methods with local Greek food and then turning them into their own thing. Yeah. And it's they're all unique. They're not it's not like, oh, go to Greece and order the moussaka. Like why would you do you can, I guess, but like why?
I don't even know what that is.
It's gross. It's like an eggplant, like.
Oh. Okay, cool question
dish.
for you. Because, like, when we went to Italy or we went to Paris, the restaurants that are always, like, facing huge famous monuments are super touristy, very expensive, low-quality food. And you actually have to, like, go more off the beaten path and, like, get more in a neighborhood or a subdivision or something to get the real, true, authentic food. It does the same thing, like, for example, Athens. Like, when you're looking at the Acropolis and there's like, this strip of restaurants and all these people out front, like, here, take a card, come sit here. Like, will you just explain that to people a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been to Mexico in a really long time. Do they do that in Mexico? Like, stand out there with the menus?
Well,
or like,
I went to Tulum in Mexico, which is like a half-paved dirt road with fire ants on it, so it's like not the same thing. No, they really weren't out. There's a person at like the front entrance in case you want to come in and be seated, but they weren't like trying to like get you in.
Because I was like, is this like a strictly European thing? Because like I feel like I haven't been, like the last place I went that wasn't Greece was Costa Rica. And they didn't do that there. It really is like specific to like really high tourism. Yeah, and the restaurants that stand outside, like with the guy, like, come, beautiful miss, come look at the menu, come look at what we have, come sit down. Like in like the busiest areas, like those are like.
I've also heard they like try to seat the prettiest girls at the front of their restaurant, and then.
I wouldn't know.
Stop! You were just on here like, I know I look good, and then you're like, I wouldn't know. What are you? Do you two-faced?
I'm just kidding. No, I don't sit down at those restaurants.
You don't sit down at those restaurants.
I go to the restaurants where the servers do not give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And then you know it's a good restaurant. That's how you know. I would just avoid those. And actually, I had somebody ask, on my podcast, actually, my co-host was like, okay, so what about the restaurants that don't have a menu? And don't have the prices. And I was like, ooh. And I was like, this is an excellent question. Because like
I'd be terrified.
Okay, so you have the restaurants like in Mykonos where, like you hear horror stories about people being charged like 800 euros for like a couple fish and a Greek salad.
I did not go to Mykonos.
Yeah, no.
I'm not a partier.
I'm not either. So, like, you hear these horror stories about people going to these places in Mykonos and getting, like, completely overcharged, and they're like, there was no price on the menu, like, the guy just said, like, brought it out to us, like, without even asking. And so you have that situation, but, like, you also have a situation, because, like, my knee-jerk reaction was like, oh, no, don't don't go to that restaurant, you need to leave. But then I was like, crap. And I was like, that's not true. Because like when we're in the village, when we're in the Hordio, like
the Hordio
village.
Okay. It's like Hordio.
Greek lesson.
Okay.
Greek lesson. Hordio village. When we're in the village and, you know, we go to the local taverna, you know, the owner pops up at our table and is like, we had this and this and that and whatever. And like, there's no, she's not like, and it costs like €8, like she doesn't stand there and say that. And that is, you know, very.
And that's in like a small town on a different island, not at the middle of Mykonos or the middle of Athens.
Right,
like,
and
totally
exactly.
different.
And you just answered the question.
Yeah.
You need to be aware of your environment and what's going on around you and who you are surrounded by. Like, what is this? Like, you need to have like some common sense. Like, what's going on around you? Like, are you in
situational awareness?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I learned something now.
5 in.
Yes.
I love that. That is so true. Okay, I want to talk about briefly just because it's funny.
Okay.
The 2 interesting instances that I had on Santorini.
Okay.
Number 1, we show up at the beautiful place we were staying. It wasn't a hotel. It was like technically like not connected to a hall. Anyways, no one cares about this. We stayed up to the place where we arrived at the place where we were staying, and it was gorgeous. And one of the things I really wanted was a hot tub.
Oh, yeah.
And it was inside, and it was like in the master bathroom, which was huge. It's like a whole room unto itself. But I take scalding hot showers, and to me, a hot tub has to be boiling. And we like dip our feet in and our hands in, and it was like maybe room temperature, maybe like to me that was probably cold. And so I there was a number you could text, WhatsApp. Everyone WhatsApps in Europe, by the way. Get WhatsApp if you're going to Greece, if you're going anywhere. And message them was like, hey, everything's great. The room is wonderful. Love it all. Just wondering if there's a way for us to like slightly turn the heat up, because we didn't see any like buttons like you do on like the side of an American hot tub.
Right.
And so they were like, oh, we'll send someone down. And I think it was like a day later someone came.
Accurate.
Greek people are chill. And he came and he like dipped his finger in the water and he's like, it is hot. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, feel it. This is hot. And I was like, is there any way we could warm it up just a little bit? And he's like, this is good. And I was like, okay. Like, I was starting to believe him a little bit. Like, I was just
yes,
he was so
right.
confident.
So, like,
he was just like, this is the
conviction.
temperature. And I was like, this is the temperature. And I was like, I just knew in the back of my mind I was getting nowhere with this man. And I didn't feel like fighting about water temperature. I don't care. I don't waste my energy on that. So I was just like, okay, sir.
Yeah.
And then I texted you through your app that you own. And I was just like, we were talking like, how's it going? I was like, everything's good. I wasn't complaining to you, but I was just like saying like that we tried to get the cold tub to be a hot tub and it didn't work. And she was like, I've got this. And then like within minutes someone was there and they got it hotter.
Exactly. And you know what? And that's one of the perks of going through somebody like me.
Yes.
Because, like, these hotels, I mean, especially in, like, tourism-heavy places, you know, like, they have people coming and going, and, like, they're not like, oh, I really want to make a relationship with this person and make sure that, you know, like, we're best friends after this ends. But with me, like, I am a potential repeat buyer of their hotel. Like, they better not cross me or I will absolutely not book them again. And there are places like that where it was like, I will never book you again.
Yeah.
You know? And you know, like, I'm one person. I cannot go everywhere. I cannot stay at every hotel. But like, I know enough that like I can tell you like this is a bad experience. This is, you know, worth an inconvenient location, or this is like an amazing I had that experience. And you know, with the hotel owners, it's just like, get your shit right, or you're not gonna see me or my clients' money ever again.
Yeah, it was weird because there was like a hotel. I'll just explain this for people who want to know. There's like a hotel inland, but I really wanted to see the Caldera view, so they had like a satellite condo or villa, I don't know what you would call it, like, but it was separate and it was on the Caldera with the view of the water. So like I wanted to see the sunrise and the sunset from my own like balcony. And so we like checked in at the hotel, which was inland, and then they like buggied us to the caldera, and we had like walked through like the cute little streets and down a stair and up and to the right, and then we were there. And so that's where we stayed. And it was like such an epic find on her part, because I like had this huge list of things. My husband had a budget and she found us the perfect thing. And we planned this all in like way too short of time, which we won't even talk about.
Very short.
Give her enough time. How far in advance do people book you? A year?
Yeah, some people will reach out a year in advance. So like I have people traveling this September that reached out to me last September.
Love.
And like my full service is booked out through September this year.
Yeah, so book out far with her. But yeah, this was way back in the day.
Back in the day, the COVID days.
So we were doing it different. But yeah, we were trying to do, like, things were just booking up as soon as we found them. So she found us this great place, booked it. And that was the experience with the hot tub, and she got it fixed for us, which was incredible. And then the other thing was, when this is an Ia thing, so you guys, we're in Ia now, which is part of Santorini, like the northern part, I think. And we took the donkey rides down, or no, maybe we walked down and we took the donkey up. Yeah, that's what it was. My husband was too cheap to donkey down. He's like, we're walking this. And then I was like, well, we'll see how we get back up. No, we walked down, and it was beautiful. A steep, slickery staircase, though, so if you have elderly people with you, maybe don't. Or wear really good shoes. Traction, like grapplers.
You do not need heels in Greece.
No.
Anywhere.
No.
Honestly.
Or in Europe at all, because there's so many cobblestones and uneven pavement. Like, do you want a twisted, broken ankle? No. But we walked down, we had the dinner, or we wanted to find lunch by the water, and there's like a couple restaurants all along Amudi Bay. It's like very Instagram, like everyone always shows like the octopus hanging in front of the Moody Bay sign, and like the water that's the most beautiful color, and all these boats that they brought fish in. And we just wanted to eat a sea bass. I don't know, we're bass fishermen, and we were like, let's eat a sea bass. So we were like walking around trying to find white bass or whatever, and that's what we were going for, because we thought they were like this. Well, and then they were like, oh, come here, look at this. And they had all the ice and all these different types of species of fish all on. They're like, you want this one? Yes, you want this one. And I was like, we do? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like, it was one of those things where I didn't feel like, I feel like we were getting the fish they pointed at no matter what.
Yeah.
And it showed up on our plate, and we're like, not what we wanted, but we ate it and we had a good time. But I think that's one of those things about probably touristy trap Greece, is they're like, they'll tell you what you want.
Yeah.
And what water is appropriate.
And it's, as you know, like Midwest women who were brought up being like, well, you know, if he says it, I believe you, because like you just must know.
Yeah.
Like that can get us into trouble in places like that. Like where it's just like, you gotta get like the polite thing out of your system, and you know, like, yes, like be kind, but like be firm. Just be like, no.
Yeah.
No, like it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want that, or that's not what I need, or like this hot tub is not hot, you know? Like just being like direct and real. And you know, I think like circling back to, you know, who you were when you started the business and who you are today.
So different.
So different.
I also feel like I lost a piece of myself, like that, like carefree, only work 8 to 5, have your whole life on the weekends and evenings, and like,
I don't want it.
Be carefree. Like,
do you want that?
No,
I don't think I do.
Here's the thing. I think, oh man, this is a great episode. We're going long, but it's okay. I feel like I've lost a lot of relationships along the way of starting a business, because first of all, startup, owning and operating and working in your business and working on your business takes so much time. And then having a kid, like I did on top of that, I feel like I didn't have the time to maintain all the relationships that I had before. And I think that's been like the hardest thing for me in seasons, you know, busyness and growth, is just like trying to explain to people like, hey, I'm sorry, like I've been so busy growing my business, and other people who have a business totally understand and get it.
I am on track with you.
Okay.
I totally get that. And I think, you know, the way that I've approached it is, I mean, I've shifted, I've grown, I have different friends, and like, because like you have to have friends that can understand what you're talking about without having to explain yourself, explain like a whole scenario situation before you get to the point that like you need to talk about. Like you have to have these friendships with people that understand you.
Yeah.
And I guess like maybe like this makes me disconnected, but it's just like I don't like the relationships that I are not in my life anymore. They're not because I was just like cutting you out, don't want you. It's just like they're not, if it's not organic to me, like it's not happening, like it's not there, and it's like it's fine. Like I think that there's this fantasy in life about like lifelong friendships, and it's just like it's that's nice. It's really nice. But I don't believe in it. It's like, okay, I had this best friend at this point in my life because of X, Y, and Z. And then I had this best friend because of X, Y, and Z. And we're not friends. Yeah. But like I can't call her up and be like, oh, you won't believe what my day was like today. Like, because we can't relate to each other.
Yeah, and that's
anymore,
okay.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's totally fine. Yeah. Like I don't miss that. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And like the friends that do understand that don't own businesses, like gold. Yeah. Like gold. Like, and I understand what you're talking about having to apologize. Be like, I'm so sorry. I haven't reached out or planned anything. Like you're such a better friend than me. And you know, like I have one friend who was just like, actually we worked together at my last like job. Okay. And he's like, no, he's like, I get it. Like you're busy. You don't have to apologize to me. You don't even have to explain yourself. He's like, I just like want you to know that like I'm here when you need me. And he's like liking all the posts, liking all the stories.
Yes,
like,
that's a good friend.
Like doing all the things, like cheering for you. He's like, hey, your nails look awesome today.
They do. I've been staring at them. They're matte and shiny. I don't know if you can pick that up, but like, they are impressive.
The friend that notices, like,
and you have a snake ring and a snake clip. You're just all gorgeous.
Thank you.
No, but that is, you're welcome. And that is such a legitimate fact. Like, people will be like, oh, I love you, I support you. And then they watch all your stories, but never like a story, never interact, like engage with your posts, never like or comment or save it. Like, those things are free and they help the algorithm, therefore help the business so much. So if you actually know someone who owns a business, please interact with their content and please like and support and comment, even if it's just a thumbs up or a heart. Like, you don't have to go in and write a friggin' 8-sentence jabab.
And I mean I let that go because like when you start a business, the people that you expect to support you don't. They don't. Very, very.
That should be rule number 1 in business schools everywhere.
And it's not like that they don't support you, but they're not actively supporting you. They're not intentionally trying to build you up or like trying to understand what you're doing, or like it's just like there's a disconnect and like you have to let that go. Yeah. And like the people that don't know jack shit about you are the ones that are going to support you at the highest level. The biggest say yours, you know, recommend you to people, to their friends, like, and
like all the posts, share your posts, be like, this is my favorite account.
And so like actually it's when the people that I've known, you know, almost my whole life, like they share something of mine or like they comment on it, I was like, oh my gosh, like thank you. Like that's such a surprise. Yeah. Like it's so surprising. Or like I had an old friend who I'm helping her out with part of her trip. And I was like, this is just like so unexpected. Like I don't expect to plan travel for people that I know.
I don't
expect
it's just
surprising
to do interior design for people I know. Either.
No, I don't. And I think that that's a really important thing to know right off the bat.
Yeah. Okay, thank you to everyone who has listened this long. I want to round this out by saying I have personally booked with Melissa. My husband and I had an incredible trip to Greece. I would love to go back, but we always try to go to different spots. But if you are interested in going to Greece, which I know you are, I'm going to let Melissa tell you the best steps that you can take to get in contact with her, see if you guys would be a good fit, and see if you guys can work together.
I'm going to make it really easy on you. I would say go to my Instagram, which is Ela Opa Travel, or the website, which is elaopa.com, and just like stalk me for a little bit. Like, you know how to stalk people. You know how to be like, I like her, I don't like her. Like, that is so important when choosing somebody that is doing something emotional for you. Like, whether that's, you know, designing your house or your kitchen or, you know, your new business space or, you know, planning your trip to Greece. Like, these are creative, emotional industries. And so I would stalk me, honestly. Make sure that, like, I am going to vibe with you or you think that we're on the same page, Because like if we're not, I cannot plan your trip. Like if you do not trust me, I cannot do anything. So first step, stalk me. second step, reach out to me in some way. The easiest thing to do is to schedule a how it works call. And that is exactly like what it sounds like, how it works. That gives you an opportunity to ask me any questions about what exactly you get from me in this, and me hearing what you need. So if you tell me that you need your hotels booked, and you don't know which islands to go to, and you want to have support while you're there, like all of those things, like that immediately is like, okay, you need a full service. If you come to me and you say, okay, we're already in these places and we already have our hotels booked, then I say, okay, you don't need full service. You need something more like to fill in the blanks, like for me to come into your itinerary and say, and
itinerary audit.
The itinerary audit. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Not paid to say that.
No.
But yeah, the itinerary audit where, I go in to the app, give you access to that, everything is Google pinned, like the best restaurants, the best beaches, kind of lay out your days for you. And that's a different service. But, like the how it works call is what, it'll lead us on the next step, whatever that might be. And there's not, and if we hop on that call and you're like, actually, what, like maybe like I just like want an hour to ask you anything, or like to clarify that what I do have
anything about
okay.
Greece, people, or
like my hotel is in the right spot, or like do I need a rental car, or like do a hotel search together, like it can be as simple as that, but full service is really where my heart's at, is to be involved from A to Z, because just like you designing a project, like it's nice to be in it from the beginning, and so like I can like completely orchestrate from beginning to end how you're gonna feel like while you're there.
I feel like full service in any industry ensures the best end result for the client, and those people are always the happiest.
Absolutely, for sure. And we're the happiest because like we get to be like so involved, like the relationship is built, and that's another thing. That's why it's so important for you to be, on the same page as me, because like I am friends with all my travelers. I am. It's not I'm not an order taker. I'm not like, I'm getting to know you. Like I am like saying stupid things, and I'm like apologizing for being weird, and like we get weird together, you guys.
Awesome. Get awesome together.
Yeah. So I mean, and I had my work wife Annie was like, that's crazy, like how like you still talk to all of your travelers. And I'm like, that's crazy that you don't.
Oh yeah. Do you have a lot of repeat travelers?
More often, yeah. Yeah, I have, which I never expected when I started my business. I was just like, yep, people are going to go to Greece once and that's it. And then when I got repeat travelers, I was like, my heart, I'm like, this is so awesome. And it's so fun to hear back from them. Like, we thought, that was going to be our only trip, because that's how people approach me. Yeah. We want to do this right. Yeah. We're only going to go to Greece once. And then when they're like, hey, we're going to go back to Greece and we want to do like a different area, and we know that we want you to do it. And I was just like, this is like amazing.
They trust you.
Yeah. And that, that is everything, is trust. And, to maybe end on another quote, because Tara loves quotes.
Yeah, I do.
This is another one that's not specifically about travel, but it's the antidote to anxiety is not calm, it's trust. And that means so much on so many levels. Whether you're trusting your Greece experience with me, or you're trusting yourself to, have an open plan and explore. When you trust yourself, when you trust me, when you trust that you have the information that you need to execute this trip the way that you want to, that's huge. That's a game changer. When you trust the information that you have.
Yeah, and for me, it's trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah. Yes. Trust the open space. Trust your feelings. Trust that, where you're at. Trust that the decisions that you made up to this point are your best bet. And if you find out that like, hey, if you're booking your own trip and you're like, oh, I booked this hotel and I think it's, I trust myself that this is the best hotel, and you find out like, oh man, like I should have stayed over there, then trust yourself to figure it out. Trust yourself that either one, you can emotionally handle that you made a bad choice, or two, trust yourself to find a solution.
Yeah.
Like trust is everything.
Yeah. Amazing. Guys, thank you so much for listening, Melissa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being on. This was so fun.
This is, you are, when we're talking about having a community of like-minded women, you are absolutely that for me. You are one of those people for sure.
Yes, thank you for being in my circle. Thank you for talking business with me. Not just today on the podcast, but all the days. And thank you for being a great human being.
Thank you for being a great human being.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what we did not talk about? You guys, I forgot to tell you this. I just found out literally last night in the DMs. You're moving to Greece.
I am.
When, for how long, what's for the decision, like the quick snap summary.
Okay, moving indefinitely.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you.
I'll have to come visit.
The world is small. The world is small. Really.
Good for you.
It is. This has been a decision that it's been like a slow burn for a couple years, and then finally this summer we were like, okay, we're not gonna say if we're moving anymore. It's when we're moving.
Mindset shift.
And so that absolutely changes everything. It's like, okay, we're not like buying random stuff for the house. We're not like doing home improvement projects. We're not putting any more roots in the ground.
You're strategically planning.
We're strategically planning. Yeah. We're talking to schools. We're looking for apartments. Like when you say when you're going to do something instead of if. It was just time. And, I don't want the kids to get any older. They're 9 and almost 6.
Yeah.
And so, to get them, settled and feeling okay without them getting older. And, it's just been something that we wanted to do. And, the Greek American community here is like, oh my gosh, that's amazing that she wants to do this with you. Like, they'll say to my husband, that's amazing that she wants to do this. And he's like, it was her idea.
That's amazing.
It was her idea. But I mean, coming full circle.
Yeah.
You don't think about these things when you're working for somebody else.
No.
Absolutely not. Like having this business and having it be something that I can do anywhere in the world, and I can do it better in Athens. Actually.
Yeah.
But having a business that I can do anywhere, that's so freeing. It is so freeing to be able because so many people, I think, put in these really, really tight roots, I'm a partner in this law firm and I'm making this amount of money because I bought this huge house and I have these huge cars and we're driving here and get so worked up into this ball of life that they're afraid to kind of pull any of the strings out.
Yeah. But
when you start your own business, it's you get to make the rules. Why did you start a business? Mm-hmm. It wasn't to do things XYZ. It was to live life on your own terms. And this is one of those things, living life on my own terms.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Are you fluent in Greek?
Okay. No. Actually, I'm skipping my Greek lesson right now.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, Demetra.
Sorry. Okay, and so your kids are going to start learning Greek too?
Yes, they have. Cool. They know some. My son can read. It's the speaking. It's feeling confident in speaking. And my daughter's young enough so she was in kindergarten this year.
Yeah.
But she'll do kindergarten again over there and just kind of start from ground zero, which is nice. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so inspiring. I can't wait to watch your journey. Please post everything.
I will do that in my free time.
Yeah.
But no, I am very excited and thank you for bringing that up. Yeah. And it's not something that I've really talked about a lot. Maybe not at all.
Okay, no, literally, I don't think you've talked about. I saw it on your personal Instagram. Yeah, I didn't see it on your business Instagram. That's actually really cool. And I also wonder, I notice, and this is just a weird business owner algorithm thing. I notice when I travel, it must geolocate me. Obviously, they're tracking everything we do, but I get followers from other countries that I didn't even interact with. So I almost feel even when I'm traveling in the country and outside of the country, my content gets seen by other eyes, and so I almost think that like maybe you being there, you'll get like more European eyes, or like who knows, like this could be so cool.
It is, and I think that, you know, from a business standpoint, you know, being here like in the middle of America, like in the Midwest, like again, mindset thing, like I have parameters in my head about what I can do with my business, you know, what's possible, what am I capable of? Yeah. And I think that there's opportunities there for me that like I can't even imagine yet.
Oh,
because, like, I'm not living in them. I'm not seeing them. I don't even know that there are things that I could do until like I see them and be like, oh yeah, I could do that. Or I could do that.
Yeah, you're going to meet other people, whether they own hotels or wineries or bookstores or candle companies. You're probably going to do collaborations and guests on your podcast, or just like they're going to have an event and you're going to go to it and you're going to meet so-and-so. Like it's going to be insane.
Yeah. Like insanely good. And you know, like this has been like this, you know, being here created this foundation to get me to this point. So again, like if you're thinking about starting a business, like just start it. Like you have got to start it. Like you don't learn to drive a car by reading a book about learning to drive a car. Like you have to drive the car. Like you can read like, oh, what's the road sign here? What does that, you know, road sign mean there? But like
zoom in on Google Maps and Google Maps drive, but driving
like
a car.
You've got to get in the car and do it. Yeah. And you know, I had a friend who reached out to me and he's like, you're like one of the very few small business owners that I know. And I'm like, he's like, I want to start my own thing. Can we hop on a call? And I said, absolutely. Yeah. And he's like, what do you think? Blah, blah, blah. I said, you're absolutely making the right decision. I go, that's all that I can tell you. Yeah. And not all that I can tell you, but like, I just like, I'm like, you know, if you take one thing away from this call, just know that you starting your own business is 100% the right thing for you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Well, congrats on moving to Greece. When do you move? Do you feel comfortable saying?
Probably at the beginning of August, but you know, like life, you know, like my son, he has a soccer tournament at the end of July, which we did not plan on, which is really important to him, and I want to respect that, and I want to go to it. Yes. It's like a national competition, and so like once, like we're going to be in Greece, like we don't need to rush. School doesn't start until September there, so like as long as we're there, and like actually we already have our apartment. We've had the apartment since, you know, signed the paper since the beginning of March, so we could have moved in last month already, which is kind of frustrating to know that we could be there, but we're not. Yeah. But it's just, I mean, like the house isn't ready or anything like that to sell, but beginning of August.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for you.
I am too.
Well, thank you for coming to be on the podcast while you're being a working mom and trying to move internationally, like across the waters. That
you
is
just do
amazing.
As we said at the beginning, you just do it.
Oh my gosh, I want to come visit you.
You will.
Okay.
Absolutely will.
All right, everyone. Now this is the real outro. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed the time with Melissa. I know I did. Please check her out on Instagram. Please check out her website. Please check out her other podcast. And like she said, stalk her.
You can stalk me. Yes, please do.
Online. Don't go to her home.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Details Podcast by the Heartland. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow along on Instagram @TheDetailsPod, subscribe on YouTube, and leave us a review. Turn on your notifications to hear new episodes every Monday. See you next week. Bye.